So I'm in the process of reading a book called Running on Empty No More. This book is basically about people who have had childhood emotional neglect and how they're dealing with, relationships with their friends, with their families, with their partners, and with their parents. And, I'm reading this book for a reason, mainly because my father was just not there emotionally for me at all. Being with him was just, when he did interact with us or with myself, there wasn't really that much connection. He never really remembered birthdays at all, never really remembered much about me at all, never really connected much at all. I don't remember seeing or hearing any form really of encouragements. Well, until I was an adult, I can remember one aspect where he encouraged me to go forward and do what I was doing. So this book, Running on Empty No More, is sort of bringing this up and sort of working out how to address and how to deal with it. It got me thinking, talking to you, as in the person listening to this, you too will be suffering or dealing with your own issues of emotional neglect and the related mental health concerns that brings up. You'll be trying to connect with people, connect with your parents, connect with your spouses, and it'll feel like there's a barrier or a block or just something just sort of intangible that's stopping you, and you won't know why. This book suggests that one of the main reasons is that it wasn't modeled to you growing up, as in you weren't shown how to create those connections, how to, have the deep loving connections, how to have conflict, how to disagree, how to agree, how to communicate in general on an emotional level. So when emotions do come up, you just start, you clam up, you want to change the topic. It's stressful, it's tough. For me, I'm in the process of trying to deconstruct exactly how I've been impacted by it and how I can overcome it. So one of the things for me is that I struggle to remember, birthdays. Like I said, I struggle to remember personal events. I struggle to remember names. I struggle with emotional connection because it wasn't really modeled to me, and I was never really given those tools. Now, this isn't to say that I'm some sort of, unfeeling automaton, but what it is saying is that what I see other people doing naturally, it requires more effort and more work. And, if I'm in a good mental state, I'm able to connect and, all that sort of stuff a lot better than when I'm in a bad mental state. Because, when you're struggling, when you're under pressure, you sort of go back to your default. So the default for me is to dissociate. That's like to block off and, push things away, to where you're safe. If you've gone through some sort of trauma or you've been in a traumatic event like a car crash, it's natural. You block off what happened so that you don't have to keep reliving it. Unfortunately, if you faced continuous trauma, continuous low-level trauma, or examples of, extreme trauma, this idea of dissociation sort of overworks and works too much. It stops you from being able to connect even when things are fine and safe. So, by reading a book like Running on Empty No More, I'm sort of trying to, apply the lessons to myself, talk about it more, maybe help, pass the resource on to you guys and share, how it's impacting me. And also just see how different childhood circumstances can impact how people connect. Because, now that I've got a son, I want to make sure that I'm basically the father that I didn't have. I want to be there for him, and I want to be connecting to him on an emotional level as well as an intellectual and a security, and helping him, teaching him, all of that sort of stuff. The final thing I want to talk about is a little bit more meta, sort of about what I'm doing here in general, this channel. Basically, just what I previously spoken about, childhood emotional neglect, I realize that I'm just sort of talking and sharing, it could be taken like, oh, here's my problems, here's my issues, and, of course everyone has issues, and I know that you do too. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because, there's multiple reasons. One of them is I feel like being open and honest and expressive about all of this sort of stuff, mental health, childhood stuff, everything that's going on, it helps to deconstruct that, that stigma, it helps to break it down, and helps to get people opening up and talking to them. Since starting this channel, people have been connecting with me, communicating with me a lot, and I know it's helping them and it's helping me. Making these videos helps me and it helps other people. It's this sort of back and forth communication and connection, because one of the worst things that can happen is for you to feel all of those things that I was talking about and have an idea that you're alone with that. You know, it's one thing to go through trauma, but it's another thing to believe that no one else has gone through it as well, or that there's no one with you, there's no one that understands. So hopefully by starting these conversations, I can get, you know, you at least connecting with me. And then if you share this video or share other things about mental health and that sort of stuff with other people, you can start a communication channel with them, and you can open up, and then you can start connecting and saying, hey, this is what it's like, this is what I'm talking about, this is how I feel, do you feel this way? Oh, well, I've felt that before, and you know, you get that communication happening. So with that in mind, I would love you to do a couple of things for me. Number one, if you can relate to any video, anything that I'm doing here, comment below and just let's start the communication happening. And number two, if you know someone that would appreciate my channel, appreciate this video, send it to them, share it. Okay? It will let them know that you're a safe person that you can talk to about any sort of mental health concerns. And when they're in need, or when you're in need, you've now got a friendship that you can just talk up and actually talk about this sort of stuff. Because when you need it, you're going to need that support. And finally, just let me know you're there. Click that like button because it helps to get the visibility up and spreading the word a bit more. So, thank you.